Well, the beautiful gardens that you've been seeing on the screen are all from Sullivan Renaissance, or from Sullivan County, and they speak to the wonderful work that the community volunteers and the residents have been performing for the last 10 years. My name is Glenn Pontier. I'm the director of the Sullivan Renaissance program, and welcome. I want to thank you for joining us on this, what turned out to be a really beautiful spring evening. And to begin our program, I'd like to introduce Ashley Exner. She's an honor roll student at the Tri-Valley Central School who founded a charity called Songs for Soup. Tonight, she's going to sing Colors of the Wind.
Walk
recipients of our 2011 Beautification and Community Development Grants, and then we welcome a keynote address from our guest speaker. Before I begin, I want to acknowledge some of our partners who joined with us to make this program possible. Particularly WSUL-VOS is sponsoring Category A, and I know that there are two people here representing. Could you stand? Thank you very much. Thunder 102 is also a sponsor for Category B. And is there anyone here from Thunder? I'd also like to acknowledge the River Reporter, which is one of our sponsors. Is Danielle Gable here? And also the Sullivan County Democrat, which is one of our sponsors, Fred Stabbert. We have two sponsors that I don't believe are here, Thompson Sanitation and Paul Walsh, are sponsors of our seasonal grant program, and Maurice Hinchy has secured funds to assist us with the beautification efforts in the village of Monticello. Let's just give a big round of applause for everyone that makes this possible. And we have very many hardworking and partners and supporters, and they include Senator John Bonasek, Assemblywoman Aileen Gunther, the Sullivan County Government, the Division of Planning, Center for Workforce Development. And I particularly want to mention the Sullivan County Chamber of Commerce for our merchant discount program, and a lot of local nurseries and garden centers for our Flower Dollar program. And all of these contribute and make Sullivan Renaissance the reality that it is. And finally, I want to draw attention to our resource partners who have tables here tonight: Cornell Cooperative Extension, Daytop Swan Lake, and Sullivan Ark, with whom we partner for the Sullivan County Garden Tour on July 23rd. So let's give a big round of applause. And you'll be able to see those last ones out in the atrium. Sandra Gary, who chairs the Sullivan Renaissance Steering Committee, could not be here to welcome you tonight. But if she were, she would challenge you, as she challenges the staff, to work smarter this year. So Sullivan Renaissance is pledged to finding ways to help project expend less effort while becoming more successful. And part of that is through better design and planning before we plant our gardens. And we're going to hear a little more about that later. Some of our Sullivan Renaissance gardens are now 10 years old or older, and we recognize the need to address maintenance of these important community assets. So during this summer, staff will be meeting with you to explore best how we can address this now and in the future. And finally, I want to give a big thanks to our steering committee, our staff and consultants, and most of all to you, the volunteers, who are bringing a rebirth to Sullivan County and making it more beautiful every season. Now, Kathy Davidoff and Helen Budrock will present the 2011 grant recipients.
Now for the exciting part. We are so thrilled to be able to announce tonight all of the grant recipients for the 2011 program. We are, as you can see, we're continuing the procedure that was begun last year for distribution of the grants, which will happen in the atrium during the coffee reception. In a bit, Denise Frangipani will explain how that works. But now, as I said, the exciting part is to introduce the 2011 Sullivan Renaissance grant recipients. All of these groups will be competing for up to $5,000 for the Showing of Flowers Award, for the community with the best overall flowers, and 4 additional $1,000 Judges' Choice Awards. And each project is eligible for support from an intern paid by Sullivan Renaissance. We now ask representatives of each group to stand as the group's name is called. There are 10 maintenance grants. As Glenn said, that we feel this is so important, and we are so happy that we have 10 great maintenance grants. After 10 years and hundreds of projects funded, Sullivan Renaissance has placed a renewed emphasis on maintenance of past projects. These are grants up to $750 to help with well-established groups maintain and embellish previous projects. They will also receive $100 in flower dollars, and they are the North Branch Fire Department, which is going to spruce up their firehouse. Do we have a representative? Okay. The Loch Sheldrake Renaissance, they are going to be doing a Route 52 corridor beautification. The Old Stone House of Hasbrook will repair window boxes, signs, and planters. Woodridge Kiwanis Club will maintain prior year's projects. There we go. Woodburn Action Committee will also maintain prior year's projects. Yankee Lake Preservation Association will do fencing and plantings. Daytop Village in Parksville will maintain their prior year's projects. Sullivan County Ladies League CDC will do a sign and garden maintenance. Phillipsport Community Center will spruce up prior projects. And the Roscoe Chamber of Commerce will do downtown garden maintenance. Let's give a round of applause for all these wonderful groups. Next is the Category A projects, which are single element projects. We have 13 this year, and they are funded with the support of WSUL and WVOS. Each project receives a $1,000 grant and $100 in flower dollars. Projects that finish will get a $250 completion grant. And they are Youngsville, again, if there's a representative, please stand and let us acknowledge you. Youngsville Environmental Preservation will enhance Little Woods and Pavilion. Timber Hill Homeowners Association will do an entrance sign and garden. The Eastern New York Federal Credit Union and the Sullivan County Visitors Association will do landscaping at their building. Action Toward Independence will do trees, planters, benches, and bushes. Bethlehem Temple Church will do signage and a garden. Hudson River Healthcare will enhance aesthetics of each of their projects. Friends of Dillon Park will work at Allison's Wonderland entranceway. The Monticello School Supportive Learning Environmental Team will do a project at the school entrance, a garden at the entrance. Livingston Manor Rotary will do enhancements to Rotary Park. Roscoe Rockland Fire District, they will work in the Firefighter and Veteran Memorial Garden. Sullivan County SPCA will do their horse paddock improvements. The YMCA of Sullivan County will do a camp welcome sign and garden. Luxton Lake Property Association will do a plaque area and garden. These projects are competing for a $3,000 first prize award, a $2,000 second prize, and a $1,000 third prize, as well as for historic, environmental, and best design awards of $1,000. Thank you for all your work. Now we have Category B, which are multi-element projects. There are 7 of them, and they get support from Thunder 102. Each project receives a $1,500 grant and $250 in flower dollars. Projects that finish will get a $500 completion grant. And they are the Coshocton Ambulance Corps, and they will do Ambulance Corps Park. St. James Episcopal Church will do the St. James Gardens. Mountaindale Community Development will work on the Mountaindale Rail to Trails Gateway. Highland Lake Fire Department will landscape the firehouse by an Eagle Scout. Town of Mamakating will work on their gardens at their Mamakating Town Park. Livingston Manor Renaissance will refurbish and recycle their projects. Rock Hill Business and Community Association will work on an entrance beautification project. These projects are competing for a $10,000 first prize award, $7,000 second prize, and $5,000 third prize, as well as for historic, environmental, and best design awards of $1,000. Thank you so much, and good luck to every project.
It's my pleasure to announce the Category C grant recipients. Each project will receive a $5,000 grant and $500 in flower dollars, and the projects that finish will get a $1,000 completion grant. First, we have the Jeffersonville Gems. Make sure we stand up and be recognized. Doing community-wide beautification projects. The Callicoon Business Association and also Callicoon Beautification Group are working on a Main Street park and a nature trail. Where are my folks from Callicoon? Liberty Pride, which are several organizations, have downtown gardens and a public park project that they're working on. Lumberland Parks and Rec are working on a Veterans Memorial, work at Circle Park, and also some welcome signs. The folks from Neversink Renaissance are doing more landscaping at the library and museum, and also some beautification along the Route 55 corridor. And finally, the Narrowsburg Beautification Group and the Narrowsburg Chamber of Commerce are partnering with the DVAA on a facade project and also working on the Town Hall courtyard and other projects. These 6 communities are all competing for a $25,000 Golden Feather grant, a $10,000 Silver Feather award, and a $5,000 award for planning, as well as historic, environmental, and best design awards of $1,000. Next, we move on to community development grants. These grants are for special projects that have expanded their beautification into special areas. They write a proposal to Sullivan Renaissance telling us how they would like to use the funding they receive, and each project will receive up to $10,000 and $250 in flower dollars. First, we have the town of Lumberland. They'll receive $9,000 for a site feasibility and market analysis in Glens Bay. Thank you, Nadia. Next, we have Wurtsboro Renaissance. They'll receive $8,000 for some work along the D&H Canal. And finally, we have the Roscoe Chamber of Commerce. They are awarded up to $10,000 to develop a marketing program for Trouttown, USA. Thank you, guys. Moving along, the last thing that I wanted to mention is these folks won't be receiving grants tonight, but this is actually the second year that Sullivan Renaissance has placed a special focus on the village of Monticello, partially with support secured by Maurice Hinchey, our congressman. We'll continue to partner with the village board, the Monticello Business Association on special projects, but we are particularly excited to be working with a fresh crop of volunteers through a newly formed beautification group. So in Monticello, the beautification group and several volunteers will be working on landscaping along Broadway, replacing the rotary clock, figuring out a way to spruce up some of the empty storefronts, We're partnering directly with the Village of Monticello on the installation of 64 historic streetlights along Broadway, as well as some improvements to the parking lots and the alleyways that provide access to the Broadway Business District. We also have forged a partnership with Coach USA, which is the company that runs the short line bus terminal in Monticello. We're going to be working with them on some beautification enhancements there. And last but not least, Sullivan Renaissance will continue to take a lead on some gateway improvements and some landscaping at the Exit 104 gateway. So thank you very much. Last but not least, I should mention that Sullivan Renaissance has some additional grant programs that have rolling deadlines where the application deadline hasn't passed yet. So if you know of folks that are interested in any of these programs, please see us afterwards. We actually have copies of some of these applications at the resource table. First is our environmental initiative grants, which are up to $2,500. This includes community vegetable gardens. We have seasonal demonstration matching grants of up to $2,500 for beautification projects at seasonal properties such as camps and bungalow colonies. We have a technical assistance grant program for Renaissance groups that need help with design, planning, engineering, or other renderings to help with their projects. And then last but not least, we have a mini grant program that is still accepting applications up to $200 for businesses and also groups to plant flowers and do small beautification projects in their communities. So I would like to, at this point, introduce our gardening consultant, Mary Lewis, who has been a Renaissance judge since the very beginning. And she's been helping us this year. She's going to say a few words about our emphasis this year on garden design and also introduce the keynote speaker, whom she knows very well. So thank you.
Good evening. I'm Mary Lewis, and I'm known by many of you as a Sullivan Renaissance Judge, a position that I've enjoyed very much for the past 9 years. But I have the honor and privilege to have joined the Renaissance team in another capacity in late January as a design consultant to help our volunteers develop even more lovely and lasting gardens. For the first time, 2011 grant applicants were asked to complete a garden design packet, which guided them in a process of reading and understanding their landscapes as they site their gardens. The plant list section of the packet provided structure to pick out the very best plants for the garden, matching light and water requirements to the site, while recognizing how sound design principles can lend interest, variety, and beauty to our gardens. And then we asked the applicants to put everything together in design plans that showed thoughtful creativity that will bring Sullivan County some outstanding new gardens this summer. The Sullivan Renaissance model brings together creative, experienced, and generous volunteers to make its programs work. We use the same model to recruit some of the most talented gardeners and designers in the area to serve on our garden design panel. This great group of gardeners gave countless hours advising us on the garden design packet itself, and they reviewed each and every new garden that was submitted. We thank them for serving on our very first garden design panel. Through their efforts, we are confident that this year's projects will reflect the goals of Renaissance with even more beautiful and sustainable gardens. Some members of the garden design panel are here this evening, so please stand when I call your name, and please remain standing until the audience gives you a thunderous round of applause at the end. Deborah Sweeten, please stand. Deborah, I know you're here. Thank you. Cindy Cashin, Kalman Freitas, Marion Fries, Alden Thayer, Joan Paez, Susie Hull, Carolyn DeWild, Annalisa Vogel. Annalisa, I know you're here. Maureen Shard, Will Foster, and Alan Jones. Thank you all.